In the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean, a single week in July 1975 would prove to be one of the rarest and most harrowing periods in the history of known shark encounters. Within a span of just 5 days, two separate divers, Gary Johnson and Rob Rebstock, would experience the sheer terror of coming face to face with one of our ocean's most formidable predators, the great white shark. These chilling attacks, taking place mere kilometers apart, would not only become an enduring symbol of the unpredictability and power of the ocean, but also present a series of inexplicable coincidences that would captivate and puzzle shark experts for decades. Hit that like and subscribe button if you're new. You're watching When Sharks Attack. When it comes to shark attacks, throughout the 1900s, a number of studies found that divers were at most risk when compared to other groups, such as surfers, swimmers, and kayakers. In fact, out of 108 recorded unprovoked shark attacks along the Pacific coast of North America, 50 of them, or 46%, involved individuals engaged in diving. In 90% of these instances, or 45 out of the 50 cases analyzed, the great white was identified as the species responsible for these attacks. On the morning of Saturday, July 19, 1975, 34-year-old commercial abalone diver Gary Johnson would embark on a diving trip off the coast of California. The seasoned diver was equipped with his black wetsuit, hood, boots, swim fins, and a mask featuring a stainless steel rim. Along with his net basket and a gray aluminum abalone iron, Johnson utilized the hookah line with a regulator for his air supply. As he entered the water, Johnson observed several harbor seals basking on a rock formation nearby. Unbeknownst to him, the presence of these seals had already attracted a massive great white shark. As Johnson began his dive around 400 to 450 meters away from the shore, he would within minutes begin prying abalone from the underside of a ledge, which is when he suddenly felt something seize his right swim fin and begin to shake it vigorously. In alarm, Johnson would then turn to face the source of the disturbance, an enormous great white shark. Great white sharks are known to rely on their keen sense of vision to locate prey, and they usually do this in murky water, which is why it's likely that this shark mistook him for a seal and launched an attack. The shark then released Johnson's fin and would begin circling him, getting menacingly close several times before disappearing in the murky depths. For several agonizing moments, Johnson spun around, desperately trying to maintain sight of the shark. The shark would then return and make 5 more passes, each time coming dangerously close to Johnson, but to his good fortune, it would lose interest and leave him unharmed, though his swim fin did bore 5 thin slices on its upper and lower surfaces. Although Johnson would survive the horrifying encounter, the encounter with what he estimated to be a 5 to 6 meter long great white shark would forever be etched in Johnson's memory. Just 5 days later, on July 23, 1975, the sun shone brightly as sports scuba diver Robert Rebstock and his companions, his brother Scott, Jeff Morris, and Tom Hesselbens, set out for an adventure dive at Point Conception. With excitement in the air, little did they know of the life-changing event that lay ahead. As the group anchored their boat just 10 meters south of Perch Rock, they prepared their equipment, their anticipation for their dive growing with each passing moment. Rebstock, clad in a black wetsuit, green swim fins, and carrying a yellow pole spear, entered the water with a backward roll. The ocean surface seemed serene to him, giving no hint of the lurking danger just meters away. As Rebstock resurfaced, he trod water for a few moments while his companions handed him additional gear. But within a minute, everything changed. A massive white shark, estimated to be 5 to 6 meters long, would suddenly emerge from the depths of the murky waters. It's important to note that on the same day, Robert Rebstock and his crew had actually run into Gary Johnson before boarding their boat. Johnson would warn them about the shark that attacked them just a few days prior. The crew, of course, would thank him for his warnings, but would not heed them, and would, of course, regardless of them, proceed with the dive. A massive great white, estimated to be 5 to 6 meters long, emerged from the depths with lightning speed and ferocity. The predator struck Rebstock with such force that both man and beast were launched 1 to 2 meters out of the water. The massive white's razor-sharp teeth and powerful jaws would then lock on to Rebstock's left leg, The attack was so sudden that Rebstock had no time to react or brace himself for the impact. The ocean's surface, which had been calm and inviting just moments before, in what was seemingly a blink of an eye, transformed into a scene of chaos and primal fear. Rebstock's companions, including his brother, were now witnessing a horrifying spectacle unfold just meters away. The sight of a gigantic predator with its jaws clamped around Rob's leg. As the shark and Rebstock fell back into the water, the force of the impact would separate them. Despite the intensity of the attack, Rebstock managed to maintain his consciousness with the aid of a surge of adrenaline, his survival instincts doing everything they can to keep him alive. He then frantically swims back to the boat where his crewmates would carry him on board, their hands trembling with fear and urgency. While the shark disappeared into the depths for a final time, the crew would then assess Rebstock's injuries and take note of the blood-stained water around them as they tried to absorb the brutal encounter they just experienced. The crew then cut the anchor rope and raced towards Government Point, where Rebstock would receive medical attention at Lompoc Hospital. His injuries would include a deep laceration on his upper thigh and multiple tooth punctures on his lower leg. The wounds were consistent with a white shark attack, with interspace measurements matching those of a 5.8-meter-long shark, just like the one Johnson reported to have encountered. Despite the shark's similarity in size, as well as the location of the attack, it was still unclear to investigators whether it was the same shark that attacked both Gary Johnson and Robert Rebstock. Research conducted at the Farallon Islands off San Francisco has shown that some white sharks remain within a given home range for varying durations during specific times of the year. In the case of the attacks on Johnson and Rebstock, it's therefore very possible that the same shark was patrolling the waters of Point Conception during that fateful week in July of 1975. Robert Rebstock, despite his harrowing experience, would make a full recovery and went on to practice law in Santa Barbara after the incident. His story till this day serves as a powerful reminder of the unpredictability of the ocean as well as its inhabitants, and underscores the importance of not just understanding, but respecting the formidability of our ocean's predators.
There have been cases similar to this one, where shark attacks, despite them being widely accepted as rare occurrences, have occurred just days apart from one another. Other than the infamous Jersey Beach shark attacks of 1916, which this channel has covered in detail in a previous episode, one recent string of lesser-known attacks that occurred on back-to-back days had also left beachgoers in fear not long ago. In September 2018, 2 shark attacks occurred within 24 hours of each other in Cid Harbor, a popular tourist destination on Whitsunday Island. On September 19th, a 46-year-old woman named Justine Barwick was attacked by a shark while swimming near her yacht. She suffered significant injuries to her right thigh and was airlifted to a nearby hospital for emergency surgery. The very next day, on September 20th, a 12-year-old girl named Hannah Paps was also attacked by a shark in the same area while swimming with her family. She sustained critical injuries to her right leg, which eventually led to its amputation. After these attacks, authorities closed the beaches in Cid Harbor and conducted a shark control program that involved capturing and killing several sharks in the area. It was not possible to determine if the same shark was responsible for both attacks, but the close proximity and timing of the incidents were certainly alarming. These back-to-back attacks highlight the unpredictability of shark behavior and the importance of exercising caution when swimming in areas known for shark activity. While such occurrences are relatively rare, they serve as a reminder that shark encounters can happen at any time, and it is essential to be aware of the risks and take appropriate safety measures. In addition to abalone diving, Robert Rebstock was also an avid surfer. On Sunday, January 29, 2017, however, Robert would tragically surf his last wave. Reports indicated that he'd headed down to a beach at Hollister Ranch at dawn, where people reported seeing him enjoying the surf for a good 2 hours. He would all of a sudden come in on a wave, according to his law partner, Rob Eganolf, and someone had noticed he wasn't paddling back out. He is survived by his wife, Suzanne, their daughter, Sarah, and their son, Patrick. If this episode piqued your interest, then our previous episode featuring 5 true stories of some of nature's most brutal animal attacks is likely to do the same. You can find it on the end screen of this video.